Joining us live now on the broadcast, our cricket analyst in Sunil Gavaskar. Sunny bhai, we just showed a report about Varun Chakravarthy and how good he has been. Firstly, kudos to the team management because there were doubts about can T20 form be replicated in ODI. They took that risk. Rohit Sharma, Gautam Gambhir, the selectors took that risk, brought him here, and then to have the courage to play him.
Yes, I think it also helped that India had already qualified by then, so you could take a little bit of a chance and see what works. And he's been bowling so well over the last maybe couple of years. He's grown in confidence. Look, he hadn't played any big cricket, and suddenly he was in the IPL. He was signed up for a big fee. So he would have been nervous, understandably nervous about the fact that suddenly the attention was on him. But the more he played, the more he mingled with top players in the change rooms. You get to meet so many international players from India, from overseas. Then when you play against each other at the end of the match, you've seen how players are talking to each other from both teams. You get a lot of confidence. That's been one of the best things about the IPL. Youngsters being able to meet up with senior players, to be able to exchange notes, and that confidence. You see, because this is not an easy art. Wrist spin is never an easy art. Now to bowl this kind of stuff is never easy. So he's grown in confidence and now he's become a deadly bowler.
It was interesting. We were coming to you live from Dubai. This was the place where there was baptism by fire for him to begin with 2021.
Yes.
After that was relegated to the sideline. What have you seen in terms of changes that he's made? What has made him a better bowler than the one that we saw in 2020?
Well, I think firstly it is confidence. Secondly, I think maybe, and I could be wrong, I think his run-up is just a little bit better than when it was 2021. Again, it could be nervousness. At the start, 2021, a little bit of nervousness, so maybe a little hesitant to come in and bowl. But now as he's grown in confidence, you can see in his run-up itself, there is that feeling that I can get the batter out. That is a big thing. When you feel that, I'm going to be hammered, then you don't want to bowl. But when you think you're going to get a wicket, you want to come in and bowl.
Okay, Saibai, you were the first one. In fact, if you've been watching our broadcast, who said play 4 spinners. India need to play 4 spinners. Get Varun Chakravarthy, put Harshit Rana out. That's exactly what the Indian team has done. What prompted you to have that thought process?
Because of what we saw with the pitch here. The pitch here has been a slow pitch, a pitch where the ball's been gripping and turning a little bit, not too much. And so on a pitch like this with long boundaries, you wanted somebody who will take the pace off. And also deceive the batsman in the air and off the pitch a little bit. And that is the only reason. With pace coming on, like Harshit Rana's pace coming on, there would be a little more opportunity to play the big shots and maybe use the pace of the bowler to get some runs. But with the pace off the pitch, no pace off the pitch, that the batter has to work that much harder.
Let's take a look at this now encounter. They played 4 spinners. Now what I'm getting to hear is that we've seen 2 very different strips here in Dubai. One that we saw against Bangladesh, which was very tough to bat on. Even India struggled to chase that low total. One against Pakistan, which seemed like a much better pitch. The match that was there versus New Zealand, I believe the kind of pitch that we saw versus Bangladesh was used. That is why it was tough even for New Zealand to chase. Now for the semi-final, I believe the Pakistan strip is going to be used.
The centre pitch.
Yeah, the centre pitch, which is the better batting pitch. Now with that in mind, do you still go with 4 spinners because it's a better pitch, so you might be tempted to play 3 fast bowlers, or if it was a turning pitch like yesterday, play 4 spinners? What do you do?
I would go with the same combination. I wouldn't make a change because again the Australians, if it was say a subcontinent team which plays spin regularly, you would say maybe take a quicker bowler. But this is an Australian pitch and Australian team, and they also don't play too much of quality spin bowling. So I would imagine that hitting them with spin would be definitely a big plus than giving them a pace off the pitch.
When we talk about India, Australia, mine goes back to that World Cup final, right? India were looking like the best team, and then you come across an Australian team in an ICC tournament, as you have against them. 2015 semi-final, I remember. WTC. Should the Indian fan be worried?
Of course, because Australia has always been a very good team. It's always been amongst the top teams in the world. I mean, look at the number of titles that they have won. So yes, understandable to be a little bit nervous for the Indian fan. But have a look at what this Indian team has been doing, the confidence with which they have been tackling every opposition. And I would say this Indian team is capable of beating this Australian team. You look at it, actually man for man, you would say that this Indian team is better. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter man for man. At the end of the day, what matters is, you know, who is going to be that much more determined, and of course you need a bit of luck in this game of cricket.
Many might say, don't look at it man to man, just look at one man. His name is Travis Head. Yes. And he's there in the Australian team.
Yes, but you know, again, he's probably just a little bit tentative against the spinners. So, so I would say that, look, bring the spinner on as early as possible. Don't let him get away to a good start.
The one other thing, I did mention those very crucial situations where Australia got the wood over the Indian team. But after that 2023 final, there was that T20 World Cup, and I know it wasn't not a knockout, but that game in St. Lucia, India absolutely decimated Australia. Yeah. Do you think that would have already helped them get over those cobwebs in their head that happened in that 19th of November game?
Yes, because it happened within a year. It happened within a year of the loss in the final at Ahmedabad. So yes, I think that certainly would have helped, because if India had again lost over there, maybe even if they had gone on to win the title, you know, that would have been at the back of their minds. And look, we can't get over across Australia. Every time Australia is a stumbling block. But that was a huge win. Look at the way Rohit Sharma opened the batting. He got 80 odd runs in no time in a T20 game. So India definitely will be now that much more confident, having just played Australia as well. Yeah, they lost 3-1, but having played in Australia, they know what to expect of this Australian team.
I'm going to talk about the Indian 11. One you mentioned, go with the same combination, that's the spinner. Now, if there is another slight area of concern, and that will be KL Rahul, and I'm not necessarily talking about his batting because conditions haven't been good, and he's chipped in with a few here and there. The wicket keeping once in a while has been a bit troublesome. He missed a few chances. Do you stick with him, or you're tempted to go with a regular wicket keeper? I can understand stuff on him. He's a part-time wicket keeper at the end of the day.
If that had to be the thinking, then you should have played Rishabh Pant in the game against New Zealand, because again, that was, it was a matter of finishing 1 or 2, but you would have given him some game time in the middle. Now in a knockout game like the semi-final, I think it is tough to make a change. Rahul didn't have the best of days, but don't forget that the pitch was doing something, so wouldn't have been easy for a regular wicket keeper. We keep on talking about Rahul as a makeshift keeper. He's not a makeshift keeper. I mean, you've seen him take some fabulous catches, but this kind of a thing happens where the ball turns a little bit more, so instead of the ball hitting here and sticking there, the ball's been hitting somewhere here and bouncing off. So that is just one of those things. I don't think he's got anything wrong. You know, we've seen wicket keepers who played for India whose hands were somewhere else and the ball was somewhere else. Here at least his hands were there. There was more of an edge, a bit more of an edge, and maybe there was a little bit more turn off the edge as well, which is the reason those catches didn't stick. So I wouldn't hold that against Rahul at all.
Let's take a look at the Australian team as well. When I looked at their squad, I thought that, they are a spinner short there, because Adam Zampa, I know Maxwell was there, Patty Short was there, they were off spinners. Indians love playing against off spinner, and guess what happened in the eve of the match? Matthew Short is out. You've got a Cooper Conley, a left arm spinner drafted in. Does that now change the complexion? Should we be looking at this Australian team earlier? Because I thought they were ill planned for a place like Dubai.
Yes, I think a left-hand spinner coming in definitely will definitely help their team. They balance their attack just that little bit. But don't forget, he's a newcomer. And for him, this is a big game. Yeah, he's made his debut only recently, so I'm not too sure whether he's 100% into the thing. But you know, cricket is a funny game. Sometimes, you know, youngsters look at this as the biggest opportunity to be able to play a top team like India, do well against India. So let's just hope that it doesn't happen this time with India.
Okay, the Australian batting. Now, we know that they are a depleted team that you have at the moment. The depleted team because of no bowlers there as such. Their primary bowlers aren't there, but the batting lineup. I'm going to talk about Steve Smith. We've already spoken about Travis Head. There's a Manas Labuschagne. There is a Maxwell who on a day can be a game changer. So that's one area of Australian team you need to worry about.
Definitely, yes. I think they are a very good batting lineup. Very, very good batting. A much better batting lineup than their bowling lineup. So they could conceivably look to bat first, put a solid total on the board, and then because it's a knockout game, runs on the board always adds pressure on the team that is chasing. So maybe that is the tactic that they will look to do. Even if they're chasing, because of the depth in their batting lineup, India knows that they will not be able to take it easy. And we've seen over here as well, once the dew comes in, the pitch doesn't grip and turn as much unless you have somebody like a Ravindra Jadeja. There was a fair bit of turn when New Zealand were bowling, when India was batting, but when the roller was used and then New Zealand came in to chase the total, there wasn't the same kind of grip. So it's going to be a tricky call for the captain who wins the toss what to do, whether to bat first or not.
It is going to be a tricky call. In fact, interesting, Saima, you mentioned that Indian team has done well on both counts, batted first as well as bowled first. We'll try and get you the reactions of Rohit Sharma before the game. We're trying to prepare it. As soon as it's ready, we'll have that on your screens as well, or what Rohit Sharma said on the eve of the game, how the two teams are preparing. But on the subject of time, till we have Rohit Sharma and his reaction on air, on the subject of toss, does that now change? Because we've seen that batting first was the way to go so far in this pitch, but now that we were talking about that it's going to be a good pitch, would chasing then be something that teams can look at?
That is the strength that India has, really. I mean, we've seen the way that with comfort level with which they chase down totals against Bangladesh and Pakistan, with plenty of overs to spare. They had wickets in hand. So that could be the thing that they would want to do as well against Australia. But again, you want to be mindful of the fact that if the pitch is going to be good at the start, then you could have a situation where the Australians could maybe total up 270 to 300, and that will mean the pressure will be hugely on India to chase. So it's going to be a balancing act. And in a situation like this, as captain, sometimes when you're going and you don't know what to do, bat first or whatever, what happens is you hope that you don't win the toss because the decision is taken out of your hands.
Okay, Saima, we're running out of time. Unfortunately, we can't hear from Rohit Sharma. We're having issues in the back end. But Rohit Sharma, his fitness, what do you make of it? There's a big storm brewing over India, in India, I beg your pardon, because there was a Congress spokesperson coming out and said that, listen, he's not an impressive captain, he's overweight, he can't be carrying on his... And I agree, he's a public figure, everyone is open to that opinion, but I'd want you to distinguish between match fitness and what you see on your screens.
Well, I've always said that if you want only slim guys, then you might as well go to the modelling situation and pick all the models. It's not that. It's how you can play cricket. We talked about Sarfraz Khan, for example. Sarfraz Khan, for a long time, Sarfraz Khan was vilified because he was on the heavier side, but he scores 150 for India in a test match, and again another 50 plus, I think 2 or 3 50 plus scores he's had. So I don't think size has got anything to do with it. It's your mental strength where you can last the distance. That's the most important thing. Last the distance, bat well, bat for long, and score the runs.
All right, Saim bhai, we're completely out of time.